Hello, welcome to Learn Academy. In this tutorial module, we'll be taking a look at using the equation editor. If you recall the last video we did, we'll take a look at how to insert equation in a new Word document. So this time around, we want to actually learn how to use the equation editor in details. So for example, just like before, let's say I want to insert, let's say the equation, of the area of a circle, for example, is I want to do that. So I'll probably have to come to the insert menu. So you will click on the insert menu just as before, then come down to the drop down arrow of the equation, then go over to the bottom side where we have the insert new equation. Then we have the equation space here which says type equation here. So I can just put in my circle. Let's say my circle is C, or I just represent it as area as A equals to, then I can come over to this symbol size to locate my pi. My pi symbols is actually here. I can locate the pi symbols. Then of course I need to have my r square, that is the radius square. So how am I going to do the radius square? So I simply just come over to the script tie section of the structure section. So I just click on the script, then I clicked on the superscript, then I simply just use my back arrow, then I put in my radius, then my front arrow, I put in my square. So you can see that we have the area of a circle A equals pi r square. So how are we able to do this? So that's exactly what we want to take a look at in this module. So you also recall that I said earlier on in the previous videos that when you click outside of the equation space, the menu, the equation editor menu actually disappears. But when I click, for example, if I were to replace this A, probably I want to use the letter B, I will have to click on the equation space again. You can see the moment I click on it, the equation tools appears, then it has an additional design menu appearing to it. So where my cursor is blinking, I can delete the A and just put letter C to represent the area, or I can put letter E to represent the area, and also, for example, I can also change any of these by just moving my arrow, or simply just moving the cursor and click on the aspect I want to change, then I press delete, then it removes the letter. Then I can put, probably I want to represent it with D, for example, so I have pi d square. So this part too, I can change it. But so that is how that is done in terms of trying to edit your equations. But basically we'll be going over the structures, the different section that makes up the equation tools, which is the design menu. So this design menu is divided into 4 major sections. So you can see the 4 section tools, you can see conversions, you can see symbols, then we have the structures. Then in this module, we'll be focusing mainly on the symbols section and the structures section, because this actually takes up majority of what you will be doing with inserting equations with Microsoft Office Word. So let's take a look at the symbols section. So this symbols is actually where you can actually take a look at different mathematical symbols that you want to insert. For example, I might want to insert plus or minus, plus or minus, maybe E equals pi plus or minus d square. I can also add different symbols. I can expand it by just clicking on this more down arrow. Then I have infinity, equals to, not equals to, multiplication, division, and so many other symbols. The theta, this actually falls under the basic math symbols. So for example, if I want to see other complex symbols, so I will quickly just come over to this top drop down arrow. Then I can see Greek letters. For example, here we have alpha, beta, gamma. For example, maybe probably I want to work on the trigonometric function. I can say trig function, let's say trig function, sorry, trig function is, let's say, cos. So I want to put cos alpha, for example. So I will have to click on the insert menu, then go over to the equation, then I click on insert new equation, then it puts it in front. So I simply just click on alpha, so it puts the alpha symbols there. So the moment I click back on it, it brings up my design menu under the equation tools. So I can also expand by clicking that. Then you can see the beta, the gamma, and every other Greek letter also in their upper cases. You can see those symbols. Then we have other math symbols like the letter-like symbols. The letter-like symbols, shows different symbols, letter-like symbols. You can see. So just use them as you need. You know the kind of equations you want to insert. So you can actually check out all these. You also have others categories that shows operators. We have the operators, the common binary operators, just like the one we've seen earlier. We also have different kind of operators. So you just have to check them and see the one that is suitable for what you need them to do. Then we have arrows. Different kind of arrows, different types, of arrows. We have negated relations, different types. We have the script symbols. You can see a whole lot of them. We have the script symbols. Then we have the geometry. We have the geometry, and just like a whole lot of them. So I'm going to change this back to the basic math, which is predominantly what you might be using, more often. So that is it about the symbols section. So let's quickly move to the section structures. If you recall, I stated in previous videos that in order to build equations, you have to use structures. The structures are actually the building block of this equation. So the first thing we have on the structure section is the fraction. For example, let's say I want to add 1/2 plus 1/2. The addition, let's say the addition of fraction is shown, shown below. Addition of fraction is shown below. So I come to insert, then I go to the drop down arrow here and click on insert new equation. So immediately I click on insert new equations, the equation tools shows up automatically. So I come to fraction. So I pick the first one, the start fraction. So I have it like this. Then I can click on the numerator and put my half, then click on the denominator, I put my 2, which makes it 1/2. Recall I want to add 1/2 plus 1/2. So meaning that I need to come to the symbol section to select my addition symbol. So come on, where's my addition symbol? This is it. So I click on plus. Then I go back to my fraction structure again. I select it, and then I can use 1 then over 2. Then I can put them to say equals to let's say equals to, I select my fraction again, equals to what do we have there? So that is 1 plus 1. I guess this is equals to 1. So but I guess what I wanted to do was just to put it in let's say 2 divided by let's say 2. So I have it 2 divided by 2, then equals to, then I can say 1. You can see how I'm able to use it to to type out the equation, the mathematical equation out. So that is what the fraction actually entails, the fraction structure. We have different kind of fraction structure. I can have one that actually I can delete. Let's say I can delete this, I can delete that, and have my fraction in this manner. I can have it structure in this manner, 1/2. So pretty much what structure you want for your fraction, you can have it like this, you can have it like this. Then there are some common fractions you could also use, which is the YDS, which basically you can also build from scratch yourself. So the next structure we have here is scripts. Under the script we have the superscript, we have the subscript, then we have other forms of scripts, and some predefined ones that have been built. So script, just as for example, if and let me delete this. Let's say, let me delete this. Let me kind of use some shortcuts. So script, for example, I want x squared plus y squared equals to 1. So how do I type that? So we're going to make use of script. So the first thing, of course, is to bring out your equation space, then come over to the structure section, then go to script, then I select my superscript. So I'm going to type my head square x here, then I put my square here, then I locate in the symbols my addition, I locate the addition plus, then I come over to the script side again, select my superscript, and I come over and put y, then square, then equals to, then I put my 1. You can see how I'm able to build this relation, x squared plus 1, s squared plus y squared equals to 1. Let's say I'm trying to build another equation that say x subscript 1. Let's say x subscript 1 plus y subscript 1 equals to 1. How do I do that? So I'm going to go to my insert again, come to my insert new equation. Then automatically, just as normal, we have our design equations open, and I come back to my scripts. Then rather than selecting superscript, I'm going to select subscript. So I select subscript, and then I can put my x here. No, sorry, come on, it's x rather. I can delete this, then I put x, and I put my 1. Then I can come over here. Rather than even come over here, I can just type plus sign symbol from my keyboard. That is a faster method to do it anyway. Then I come over to the script side, I go to the subscript again, then I can put in y, then my 1, then equals to 1. You can see what I just did, so I change the structure, I change the structure of the script. So that is all about script. Then we have the one we call the radicals. For example, you want to insert square root of 4. I can say this is comma, then I can decide to put square root of 4. Let's say I'm putting square root of 4, then I click on it, then I have my 4, I can change it, I have my 16, I can delete it, I have my 36, I can delete it, I have my 64. You understand? Then I can always equals to, or better still, the moment I click on 64, I need to move out from the square space that the 64 is occupying, by pressing the forward arrow, or I can simply just click outside of that little radical structure, then I enter my equals to sign, then I can put my h there, if that's what I'm trying to explain. So you can see we have different types, different types. Then of course we move over to the integral. For example, for science engineering students, you make use of integral very well. In advanced engineering mathematics, you can see different integral signs here, the double integral, the triple integral, and so many other kind of integral structure which you can use. Then moving on, we have the next one, which is the large operators. Summation, you have the summation, you have the one summation with limit, and so many other types of summations. And we have the product and the co-product structures which you can use. Then and you can always scroll down to see more, more other structures that you can use, or other built-in structures that have been done which you can utilize and later modify. And then we can move on to the next one. The next one is a bracket. For example, you can work with different brackets. I can select my bracket and put something here, x minus y into bracket, and I can select different kind of bracket structures. So I can also scroll down, you can see different types of bracket structures. So I can move on to the next one. We have the functions, it shows trigonometric functions, the sine, the cosine, the tangent, and so many other trigonometric structures that you can use. The next one, we have the ascent. The ascent, this is how it looks like. You might want to have a prime, and so many other mathematical ascent you want to use. Then the next one, we have the limit and the log. So you can see different structures for limit and log functions that you can actually make use of in your function. Then we have the operators, the basic operators. We have the basic operators, and of course finally we have the matrix. We have the matrix, the 3 by 3 matrix. We have this is 3 by 2 matrix, and we have different forms of matrix structures that you can actually make use of. So you can see that Microsoft Word actually has a whole lot of structures that you can actually benefit from, including their symbols, different kind of symbols, just like we have said. Then you can combine either or all of these structures in relation to the symbols, to make up your mathematical equation. In the next video, we'll be taking a look at how to actually now combine all these to form a complex mathematical equation. So thank you, see you in the next module. Bye for now.